Hi guys, it's Amy here. So I'm here to talk to you about what it's like, what it was like for me when I wasn't getting out of the house and I was isolating myself a lot, and what it feels like when you only see your baby and your husband. So if you're joining me here, feel free to introduce yourself. If you're watching the replay, feel free to comment, say hi. So if you feel free to comment if you're watching live, or if you're watching the replay, feel free to comment. It's always fun to have some interaction. So I'm talking about today what it's like to be isolated when you're not getting out of the house, when you're only seeing your baby and husband or partner. It can be really challenging. It can feel like you're alone a lot, and you can start to get resentful towards your baby, your husband when they get home, or you're so excited to see your husband and he just wants to relax. I know that was a big thing with me when he'd get home from work and I'd been home with my girls, or I have 2 daughters, so there's 2 different times when I was struggling with postpartum depression and anxiety, and it can be hard on relationships, and hard on yourself when this is going on. I remember when my sister would ask me just to go for a walk, and it was just so overwhelming, and I was just no, and it was very difficult to get out of the house. My husband did a lot of the errands for shopping for random things. I'd be like, oh, we need this or that, and I didn't get out very much at all. And it seems so weird to look back now and think about that, when it was really difficult to get out of the house. Just for a simple thing like a walk, it was just so overwhelming. So I can understand where you guys are, and you may relate with some of this. Even the simple things like, I guess they didn't seem simple at the time, and trying to get your children out, like just to go shopping or whatever, it's just really overwhelming having to bundle them up, especially in the winter time. We just finished winter. We're still kind of winter where I live, but we're in the spring, so but trying to bundle them up and make sure they're warm and comfortable on the trip to the store or whatever, it can just seem like so much. And when you're already tired, when you've already been awake all night with the baby, it can be very exhausting. I've been there, I understand. I remember getting anxiety just because my house wasn't clean, and I thought, I need to have my house clean before I get out. If you're joining us, feel free to comment and say hi. So like the anxiety that I felt when my house wasn't clean, and I wanted to get out and I wanted to go do things, but it was just so overwhelming, and I thought I had to do everything, and all these things had to be done. So just I remember realizing, like, it doesn't matter. What matters is what I need, right? But it was a long process. Like I say, I suffered a little bit with depression before I had my girls. I suffered with postpartum depression with my first daughter, for sure. I know it was probably not until she was 9 or 10 months old till I was trying to get out to groups more on a regular basis. So there was a lot of difficult times. I know there's a lot of stuff that comes on with life. With me, I was looking after my mom at different times, caring for her, and my daughter. So all those things add up. We all have different things in our life that add up and can make it really overwhelming. I know with my second daughter, I started, because I understood and I knew what patterns I could fall into and what had happened in the past. So I really, really put an effort into getting out. I still fought, and I always describe it as like prying myself off the couch to get out the door, to go for a walk, to go do things. And I know I love nature. Nature fuels me, and it's something, I spent a lot of time in nature as a child and out building forts and just playing in the woods and climbing trees and all those things. So whenever I get in nature, it brings me back to that. And so just getting out and getting my daughter in my stroller and walking, I remember those days of being like, I just need to keep doing this because it feels so good, right? So just, I know, like I say, it may feel like you're just prying yourself off the couch or you're prying yourself out the door, but if somebody invites you for a walk, I know it's so easy to say no, and I've been there a lot. And if you can prepare yourself and remind yourself, you know, if somebody does offer for help, or if somebody does offer to get out and go do something with you, you know, try and work on that, getting to the point where you do it, because it seems like a really hard thing to do right now, and I know when I was there it was really hard, but the more you do it, the more momentum you have and the better you feel. That's what I found. I know I spent years researching all kinds of nutrition, sugar, supplements, vitamins, all kinds of things. I spent years trying to figure out how to get my energy back up, how to feel better, what I should be eating, what I shouldn't be eating, what schedules I should follow, all kinds of things. And it takes a lot doing all of that research, and it takes a lot of time. I know with my second daughter, the group coordinator, she knew kind of the position I was in, and she knew that sometimes it's a struggle to get out. So what she would do is, if I didn't show up and I'd said I was going to show up, she'd call me. She'd say, "Hey, are you showing up?" And that was that point where I had to be like, okay, I'm going to make myself, I'm going to do this. But having that accountability, having that external accountability was a big, big thing for me. Just to know that, you know, somebody was kind of waiting for me and knew what I was going through, so they were able to say, you know, hey, come out. And I knew that once I had done that, especially being with my second daughter, I knew at that point that it would make me feel better to just go and do that. So, and I know at times it was very overwhelming and it was too much. You know, sometimes it's easier said than done. So I understand what you're going through. I really do. If these are some issues that you're having, and feeling like the only person you see is your baby, missing your old life, your old friends, it can be really challenging. So some of the tools that I found, like I said, searching all over Google, all over online to find anything and everything that would help me, and trying out different strategies, trying out different foods and different supplements, different vitamins, different routines. All of that has helped me, and it's going to look different for every one of us. Everyone's going to have different things that help them get better. I know I did counseling for quite a few years at different points in my life, so counseling helped a lot. Having that person to talk to, friends and family helped a lot. I know when my sister moved back home, it was huge just having that person to talk to and to help with the girls if I needed. That was a huge thing, is having those friends and family around. And I know sometimes we're in isolated communities. I live in a very isolated community. My sister no longer lives here, but it was huge during that time, and very, very helpful, especially having a little one, a newborn. Some other things that helped me, like I said, with having counseling and just returning to that, and whenever I needed that extra support, is just knowing that and going and talking to them, I find talking helps me a lot and working through that sort of stuff. And again, setting up routines, and there was a multitude of tools that I was given through those sessions, and then through working with my second daughter, I was working in the beginning of my years of working as a pregnancy outreach worker, and I have lots of tools there that I work with clients, and a lot of those tools were tools that I had at that point. So that stage of my postpartum depression and anxiety, or that bout of it, was a lot easier for me than it was the first time. The first time was very difficult, but it's just having those tools in my pocket that I think really helped. So as you're watching this, if you have any questions, have any comments, if you want to share anything, let me know. If you're watching the replay, again, leave comments. Let me know if you have any questions. Let me know if you can relate. It's tricky for me thinking back to those days, because as I'm sure you know, it's, especially if you're living it right now, it's a very dark place to be, and it's not very nice. Sometimes when I'm trying to think back, it brings up a little bit of anxiety, and I have to remember my deep breathing, remember grounding myself, smelling, seeing, touching, all those five senses, just to bring me back. So it's not an easy place to be, but I do know there are ways to get through it, and I just want you to know that. Again, feel free to comment. Let me know what you think about this, and thank you guys for all the comments today on topics, because I will definitely be doing some live videos on some of those topics. Well, hopefully all of them in the long run, but there's some really good topics there that I've seen you posting about, and I just love that feedback, so I can help you guys do the best and get better and feel better. So thank you for watching, and we will I'll be doing another live Saturday morning, so Saturday morning my time, 9 a.m. so if you're Eastern time, that's gonna be noon, I believe. So yeah, I'll post it anyways before Saturday, and I'll be doing my live videos Saturday mornings. All right, thank you so much, guys. Have a good night.